Please enjoy this feature presentation of the Crooked River Radio Network. This program is rated for all audiences.
Tales of the Lore Hunter is sponsored by CrookedRiverRadio.com. Crooked River Radio is an internet radio station that is live 24/7 playing rock and adult contemporary top 40 hits from the 60s through the 90s. You can find us on Live 365, Simple Radio, Roku, Radio Garden, and even Alexa, as well as our website. Come on and join us on the Crooked River.
You are entering the lair of the Folklore Hunter with Beth, Roose, and Pat Morrow. Once you pass this point, beware.
Yep, you better beware. It's the Pucwudgies all the time. They'll get you every time, won't they?
Oh, those little creatures, they are just creepy crawling. If you really like that, you're going to have a great time on our Pucwudgie. Well, I don't even know what to call it. Our creature
extravaganza. When all else fails, you call it the Pucwudgie extravaganza.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's a creature feature. That's what it is. So, I heard of these growing up. They're kind of known for Ohio, and they are also known in Massachusetts. And, our good friend Beth down in Round Rock, Texas, she has them down there too.
Oh,
and also Indiana. But I heard of them from my mom and dad. They were president of the Historical Society in Northampton, and they did a lot with the mound builders. They talked about the mound builders all the time. And it's funny, these Pucwudgies are like known paranormal type. They're drawn to paranormal, but they are also drawn to the mounds. So like the Indian mounds in Indiana, there are tons of sightings of them there in the mounds. Same within Southern Ohio, the mounds, that big snake mound. I can't remember the name of that mound, but it's like in the form of a snake. They also talk about the sightings of Pucwudgie down there. And of course in Massachusetts too. And they're known to be in forests and swamps and stuff like that. But they're kind of scary looking. I mean, they look kind of like they're shapeshifters for sure. But they also, they just can change shapes to all different things. But mostly they look like a troll. Or what you would imagine a troll would look like. But the majority of the sightings are with them with the back of a porcupine and the front looking like a troll or, a miniature human, just with the porcupine stuff. So they're kind of creepy looking, that's for sure. So if you're into the scary looking, almost paranormal, well, they are paranormal, then, you're good. But so for me, because they're known in the forest and the swamps, I don't know about you, Pat, but I'm wondering if they're like a friend of the Bigfoot.
You never know.
And the chupacabra. They say the chupacabra run with the Bigfoot. They're like the Bigfoot's dog. Like we have dogs, they're our pets. The chupacabra are with the Bigfoot. So I wonder what that makes the Pucwudgie who run in the forest with them. I don't know. Is there like their Matchbox car or something? I don't know.
Never know.
You never know. I thought about that the other day when I was doing some research on the Pucwudgie, and I thought that came to my mind. I wonder if they're buds in the forest.
Something that occurred to me. You said Moundsville there, or Mounds there. I wonder if Moundsville has any relation to that.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I didn't check that out, but that is a good question. So, gosh, I should. And and since they're part of what that people consider, cryptoids, and also they're also part of paranormal. I wonder if they're in graveyards too. I don't know.
Moundsville, you would think, would mean something.
It must have,
about the burial mounds.
The burial mounds, though, isn't that where they found some of those giants, what they call the Nephilim or the Watchers? So, those giants had to come from somewhere. And in the book of Enoch, it talks about the Nephilim and the Watchers. So it's so that's kind of paranormal too. So, or not of this world anyway. So, but speaking of paranormal and not of this world, a lot of people call them demons. So, as the fallen angels are, the Watchers, I'm wondering if the Pucwudgie are truly, demons. So who knows? Just there's all sorts of things they could be. So I don't know. But in doing the research, just as we have lots of ideas of what they could or couldn't be, a lot of people who are doing research also have a multitude of ideas on what they think it could be as well. So I don't know, let's play the first little clip and get folks thinking about what they're seeing.
I'll leave the mic open so we can talk about it.
Okay.
Maureen, push him up. Ron, you're still connected here.
Ron, watch her going back too far.
Here. Maureen.
Come on, Maureen, fight him.
Oh, come on, Maureen. Oh, crap.
Don't let her go track too far, Ron.
Don't let her get in the water.
Yeah.
She sees it on the ground.
Maureen.
Go holy water.
Maureen.
So what I think here is...
Leave this boy! Angel, leave this boy! It's not your own! Come in! Leave it! Leave the Father and the Son, the Holy Spirit! Leave this boy! Leave it! Leave it! Push him out!
So I think what we saw there is Pucwudgie can take over a person, and that's why they're nefarious, and the various Native American tribes have a thing where they say they're demons and they can take over a person, and they pull pranks and they start fires, and so most Native Americans do not have anything good to say about a Pucwudgie. So, and then others say they're just fun loving, but you can see from that little clip there, that didn't look fun loving to me.
I don't think so either.
It looked spooky and scary. And so, that's why you see a lot of beware of the Pucwudgie. So, I don't know what to think about that one, because, well, I got to say in my books, I have them as tricksters, but I also have them as not only a trickster, but, that they help the Galactic Federation. So not sure what to think about that. I don't know. It's I can't wait to hear from the people, those of you listening. I can't wait to hear what you think of the Pucwudgie and what you know about the Pucwudgie, because it's not, in the top 10 cryptids that are, that people talk about. It's, it's just not in that top, things that when you talk about a cryptid, people think Bigfoot, Dogman, the Goat Man. They think of course, the Loch Ness Monster and
Peninsula Python.
Yeah, that's it for sure. So you're so funny. So I'm not sure what to think, but I can't wait to hear what you guys think. So make sure you make a comment and like our Lore Hunters programs and what we bring to you. But it is just interesting as I spoke with different people all week about, talking about the Pucwudgie, I heard all sorts of crazy things, and I mean crazy things. I thought I was crazy. No, I felt really normal after talking to some of the people about this, because a lot of folks I was speaking to were of Irish descent, and so they had it was a type of gnome, and that was mischievous, and of course they had all seen one. I haven't drank enough alcohol to be able to see one, I promise you that. And if I'm seeing one, I'm going to see Champ. I don't want to see one of these Pucwudgies, that's for sure. One of the people I spoke to, their parents were biologists, and and what they told me was that their parents had dissected one. So I couldn't help but laugh. Okay, that was funny, but he was not laughing. He was serious and said that, his parents used to bring home all sorts of stuff for him to see, and he said he got to see this dissected Pucwudgie, only he didn't call it a Pucwudgie, he called it a gnome. So he swears on a stack of Bibles that, they are real.
I got a gnome that lives up on the landing of my house here.
You stop that.
I call him Glenn. I got it as a housewarming gift. A friend of mine.
Oh dear.
When we moved in here, he gave it to me, and I liked it so well, I decided I didn't want to put it outside where it could get broke or whatever. So
geez. Okay, what to say?
So I put him up here in the right as you come in the door.
Well, does it look like what we're seeing?
It looks like a leprechaun, more or less.
A leprechaun, yeah. So, it's funny you bring that up, because that's what he also said, is that in he called it the mother country, which was Ireland. He said, and I forget the name of the town. He said, I'm sorry, but he said that they're prevalent over there. They are everywhere, including fairies. And I said, well, we're not doing fairies this week. We're doing Pucwudgie. And he says, well, that's what you Yanks call them, as Pucwudgie. We call them gnomes. So, what can you say? It's just very interesting.
We lost your video here a couple minutes ago too, by the way.
You did? Okay.
Yeah,
well, I'll try to get back on the video. Here, oh no, I just turned it off. Okay. So let me do that while we show the next clip.
Okay, we can do that. You're listening to the Tales of the Lore Hunters show. We'll be back on the other side of the clip. There you go. Thank you, dear.
You're welcome. Thank you. Sorry about that.
We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. This is Monsters of Folklore, and today we'll be looking at the Pucwudgie. Apparently, it is a mischievous creature who lurks in the forests. Now, I'm not going to give you an explanation entirely what the Pucwudgie is, but today's video, I'm going to be giving you some supposedly facts about what the Pucwudgie is and does things like that. The thing might be small, like an elf, elf dwarf type creature, but it can be pretty deadly. Now, the Pucwudgie, they're magical creatures who live inside wooded areas and swamps. They are considered spirits of the forests. The Pucwudgies can appear and disappear at will. They can confuse humans, create fire, launch poison arrows, use magic, and lure people to their doom. Now, the Pucwudgies, they have the ability to shapeshift into dangerous animals like cougars, lions, things like that. They can also turn themselves into a combination of creatures and look half human, half porcupine if they choose. Now, I came across the picture of what I guess somebody had painted or drew of the half human, half porcupine thing, and my goodness, it would be a terrifying sight to come across. If you spot a Pucwudgie in the wild, you should leave it alone. Anyone who annoys one will be followed around by the creature and will either fall victim to its nasty tricks, like being stalked and having their memories forgotten, which sounds horrible, or they might meet a deadly fate. If you happen to annoy a Pucwudgie to make it want to come after you and not leave you alone, then they might kidnap your children, push you off a cliff, attack you with their short knives and spears, or use sand to blind you, or persuade you to commit your demise. Now the Pucwudgies, they resemble humans except they are much smaller. They have canine-like noses, they have larger ears, lips, and fingers. They have been compared to trolls, goblins, and leprechauns. And to me, I would kind of compare them to the Redcaps, which I've done a video on those too. They're, kind of like goblin-like creatures who apparently soak their hats in people's blood. Now, Pucwudgies are commonly found in areas with other forms of paranormal activity. They've been sighted near Fall River, which is close to the home of Lizzie Borden, the axe murderess. They have also been sighted in the haunted Moundsville State Penitentiary in Indiana and Round Rock in Texas, where Bigfoot allegedly lives. Now, the exact height of the Pucwudgie is unknown. Some witnesses claim they only reach about 2 to 3 feet, but others believe they are knee height, which goes back to the whole, goblin leprechaun type height. Now, Native Americans believe that the Pucwudgies used to get along with humans, but then they turned against them for unknown reasons. I'm not really quite sure why. And apparently the word Pucwudgie, it translates to person of the wilderness, which that's pretty interesting. Now, the Pucwudgies are the oldest mythical creatures in North America. Stories of Pucwudgies originated from the Mohegan, the Algonquin, and a few other Indian reservation type areas. They believe the creatures dwelled in the woods and marshes of the eastern seaboard. Now, different regions have different views on the Pucwudgies. The Great Lake tribes believe they are mischievous but harmless. The Northeast Algonquin tribes believe that they become violent if they are disrespected, but they are fine if you leave them alone. There have been a significant amount of Pucwudgie sightings in the woods of Massachusetts. The police have gotten so many reports that a Pucwudgie crossing sign was erected near the Freetown State Forest. Now that's pretty cool, especially if you truly believe in things like this. But if I seen a sign that says there's Pucwudgies present, I don't know if I truly want to take the risk, you know what I mean? Now the Pucwudgies, they have smooth and gray skin that sometimes glows. I'm not sure why that would be. Now, one woman claims that she came across a Pucwudgie while walking her dog through the woods. I don't know why you'd be walking your dogs through the woods though, alone, if you're a woman in these day and ages. Even though she left it alone and went home, the creature would commonly appear at her window and wake her up. These occurrences continued until she moved away. Now there's another one where a man claims he saw a Pucwudgie with fur, glowing red eyes, and a nose like a wolf. When it ran away from him, it released a disturbing moan. And I'd say that the whole, nose like a wolf and things like that is probably the half creature, half human type aspect of the Pucwudgie. Even though their appearance is off-putting, the Pucwudgies have a sweet floral scent to them like flowers. Now, I forgot all about this, but apparently the Pucwudgies also appear in the Harry Potter series, written by, J.K. Rowling. The creature now acts as a symbol in a house at Ivermorny School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. I really had no idea about that at all. But that is just some pretty interesting facts about the Pucwudgie itself. It's pretty cool. It's pretty scary because there's different forms of elves and things like elves and dwarves and goblins and things like that. Some of them are nice. Some of them are not too nice at all. I guess like the Pucwudgie, and I did one of the Redcaps. They're pretty interesting. But have you ever heard of the Pucwudgie? Have you ever been to this forest where the Pucwudgie sign is erected at? If you have, did you make it out alive? Did you see anything cool? Stuff like this is interesting. Cryptids and all that stuff, it's pretty cool because you don't know if it's real or not. I believe some of these things are real and some of them aren't. But leave a comment, follow me on Twitter, like the video. What's your opinion of the Pucwudgie? This is Monsters of Folklore, and I will see y'all later.
Yeah, I think you'd know if you didn't make it out alive.
Well, you know what? There is a similarity to, because they're gray. They say they're gray and they're 3 feet tall. Remind you of something else, like a gray alien. So, that's where my mind went when I first started reading about Pucwudgie. Was they're gray same size as a gray alien. So I don't, you know, there's so many different things it could be that it's,
Yeah.
you know, and so there must be some kind of truth because J.K. Rowling sure used them in, you know, the Harry Potter series. So it just makes you wonder what kind of truth. Most folklore and mythology has some truth to it. It started with some truth, and so, you know, and it started in Ireland, I think, with a troll-like creature. So they could disappear and shapeshift into animals or other things. So, you know, for me, I don't know, because, you know, gray aliens have a way to put things in people's minds. So I'm just not sure. They're mischievous, they're jealous. I don't, you know, I know one of the tribes, the Wampanoag, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. So I'm sorry if I destroyed the name of that Native American tribe, but they believed that it was they were part of Moshop, which was a giant that lived in the land. So here we are back to, you know, the Watchers and the Nephilim, and they said they were part of Moshop, which was part of the Watchers, and that the Pucwudgie were. They say were mischievous, yet, you know, they felt they were part of the underworld. So, you know, I don't know what to say about that. So they said that the Pucwudgies could possess spirits of long dead ancestors. That's scary. And so that makes it paranormal. And thus, they said that the spirit of Lizzie Borden in Freetown and in Massachusetts could be seen and heard, you know, running around, you know, close to her, to where she lived in, I forget the name of the town. So I don't know. I'm not sure what to think about the Pucwudgie. I'm torn about the behavior that some people, you know, talk about here with the Pucwudgie. I can just tell you, I don't want to run into a real Pucwudgie. That's for sure. Good, bad, or indifferent. Not wanting to see it and not wanting to run into it.
You have to wonder. There is so much of this stuff that you hear about. You have to wonder. You almost have to know it exists. You know,
Right.
That's the whole thing about shows like this. We like to investigate the possibility of it, and
we do. And it's just crazy. I don't want to run into this one.
The stuff
There's
you
a lot
find
of them
out.
I want to.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be possessed by one of them.
Definitely not. That's why, you know, I'm led to the thoughts of it's a demon, and I sure as heck don't want to be around a demon, be possessed by a demon, try running from a demon. Yeah, no. Although so many of the pieces I've read all say that Pucwudgie want to live in harmony with humans, but from everything I've read, doesn't sound like they're harmonious at all. So I'm not sure what to believe. It's the clips that I've seen and that, you know, that we're going to continue to show you. None of them have anything good to say. So I don't know. Just don't know at all. Now, not long last year, now I'm not sure they had very many attend, but the Rutherford B. Hayes, who was in Ohio, he was a president from Ohio, and his wife Lucy, they believed in the Pucwudgie, and they their home was in Spiegel Grove, outside of Sandusky, Ohio, and in Fremont, Ohio, which is right outside of Sandusky. And I'm sure back then their home was in the woods. But they said that they had them in Spiegel Grove. And it's just like, so in honor of that, the presidential library, he has a presidential library at his home in Fremont. They did a whole big to-do, a big get together at the library on cryptids, Ohio cryptids. So it was Bigfoot, the Pucwudgie, what was the other one? Of course, the Peninsula Python. We can't leave them off. The Peninsula Python, and then they also did. There was one other one they did. The Mothman. Although because of the bridge that went down crossing, the Ohio River there, but I can't remember what the other one was. Gosh darn, I'm sorry, but I will have that next week for you. But there was like 5 cryptids, or 5 or 6 cryptids that they did at the library, and they spent the majority of the time on the Pucwudgie, and of course Bigfoot. But yeah, can you imagine a presidential library doing a thing on cryptids because he believed them? President Hayes and his wife Lucy, Lemonade Lucy, that's what they called her at the White House, because she did not allow liquor of any kind at the White House. So they called her Lemonade Lucy. So we can't accuse them of drinking too much to see these cryptids. They wholeheartedly believed in them.
A little bit of shine here and there, no matter, wouldn't know what you'd see.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's just, lots of the presidents believe in things like UFOs.
It's not just, it's not just U.S. politicians either. Even if you go back through Hitler believed quite a bit as far as the UFO stuff, and he also believed that somewhere there was supposed to be a Holy Grail. And he sent his people looking for it. Yep, he actually searched for that. And
they went to Tibet and all kinds of places.
They were searching for that. I think it was a power thing for him, but he must have believed in it to send the people there.
Well, heck yeah! Look, they did a whole movie, Indiana Jones, after it.
Exactly.
So, but yes, I cannot remember who it was that he appointed that was, doing all that paranormal stuff. But they built that in Poland. They have that compound where they actually built a UFO, but in reality, it was a time machine that looked like an acorn. And so I guess I can't remember, there was the lady with the long hair, she disappeared after the fall of the Third Reich. She and another person disappeared, and they say they disappeared in that device that they had to travel forward in time, which they say traveled to that place in Pennsylvania. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at the names of the Glecksburg or somewhere in Pennsylvania that traveled through time, and it appeared in Pennsylvania. And of course the US government swooped in and took control of that. And who knows, they said it was empty. There was nothing in it, nothing to see, here.
Nothing
typical,
to see
nothing
here,
to see here. But who knows what was in that? But yeah, so you just never know. I'm sure there's other other entities out there that we're unaware of and that have traveled here, to Earth. And, hopefully we'll find out one of these days. They keep saying disclosure, but
in
we'll
the past, on this station, we've had some pretty unique discussions about stuff. I have a friend that is, or an acquaintance that is pretty religious. And one night I got him on a show, and I flat out asked him, I said, Shane, do you think God could, or Christ could have been an alien? And boy, I'm telling you, that sparked a huge discussion between him and I.
Because
every time he came up with something, I'd come up with something to counter it. And we went back and forth, and to this day, that's probably one of the most interesting discussions. In fact, we're going to do, I think, August 14th or something like that is our anniversary for restarting shows. We're gonna do an anniversary show, or kind of an anniversary week. And I'm going to go back and see if I can get some clips. I'm going to see if I can have to see if I can find that one. I'm sure it's out there. But that's probably one of my top 5 clips that since we've started this station, it probably sticks out in my mind.
Well, so does he believe that or not?
No, he didn't believe it.
Of course not.
But you still have to question, just from stuff that I do a lot of, I like aviation. I always have. Mm-hmm. I like space, as you probably know.
Yes.
In fact, I talked to the space station, through the space station to Nebraska the other night.
That is awesome. That is so awesome.
If Burned Oak Observatory is listening, I talked to you the other night. Thanks for the QSO. But he with that kind of stuff that happens, and I'm probably one of maybe 25, 30,000 people that could achieve that and be able to do it on a regular basis. Because I think there's only, there's a little bit more. There's like 700,000 hams. But, any ham can do it with just basic equipment.
I think that is totally cool.
When you start talking about stuff like that, God only knows what can go on in this world, let alone this universe.
Yeah, I mean, we're still discovering things. So, for us to say, who are we to say that is true? The Pucwudgie are true or not, or Bigfoot is true or not. I mean, they didn't even discover the silverback apes until 1920. So, I mean, who are we to say what's true and what's not? But, hey, let's look at P.T. Barnum. He had all kinds of skeletons, whether patched together with other things or true. Who are we to say? Because,
that's true. And he used to go for the off the wall stuff too. We do have a listener, Ellie.
Hi, Ellie.
And she says I have to talk to the space station because no one on Earth will talk to me.
Oh.
Love you too, girl.
Yeah,
you'll pay for that one.
Well, what can I say? I think it's because I don't want to believe that the demons are running around, or but I don't know. So what's the next clip we have that we can play?
That is the Native American thing.
Oh yeah. So this one's a longer one, but she has some because she is Native American. She has some unique takes on the Pucwudgie.
Okay.
So why don't we go ahead and play that, Pat?
All right, we'll do that. We'll be back on the other side of this. You're listening to the Tales of the Lore Hunters on Crooked River Radio.
In North America. The actual name, Pucwudgie, actually means person of the wilderness. They've often been related to goblins and imps and those kind of folklore creatures. Apparently, these creatures have been around since the 1400s. That is just so fascinating. I mean, going back into history and legends, it's just so fascinating. The 1400s. They were recognized by the Wampanoag tribe of Massachusetts and the Algonquin tribe of the Great Lakes region. From what I've read, these creatures used to live in the wild in North America, and they were even friendly with humans. That was until this changed and these creatures actually turned against us humans. And from that point, it was really important that we didn't interact with those creatures or go near them or really just have anything to do with them. This creature is actually described in a very gross way. It's just absolutely frightening. It's said to have a face very similar to ours, so as humans, except their features are a lot bigger. So for example, their ears are bigger, their noses are bigger. The color of their skin is grey and they are as tall as our knees. And like I said, they are not considered pleasant to be around. In fact, they were actually considered very mischievous. And others say that it is actually life-threatening and dangerous. Now, the reason that these creatures stopped living in peace with us humans, according to the Wampanoag tribe, is almost out of jealousy. They became angry that us humans were focusing on a mythical being called Morrow. Now, Morrow was almost like a god, a massive giant that was described as a really kind spirit. It's actually believed that Cape Cod was created by this being, Morrow. Basically, the Pucwudgies were jealous of this relationship between the humans and Morrow and how humans really respected and, just had a good thing with Morrow. And so, in turn, the Pucwudgies decided to cause trouble. And because of all the trouble that these creatures made, they were banished throughout all different parts of North America. But I'm sure you guessed it, these Pucwudgies came back, and they came back with complete intentions to continue spreading trouble. I read that it wasn't just trouble, like a lot of the things that these creatures would do were actually really sinister and really bad. For example, there was a legend that I read where the Pucwudgies came back and they killed Morrow's 5 sons. And in other legends, they actually killed Morrow himself. So it wasn't just, spreading, mischievous and, stealing and breaking things like murder. From what I've read, some of the legends say that they murdered. And yeah, according to different tribes, it wasn't just tricks that these creatures would do. They would actually commit terrible crimes. It's so interesting to think that this legend is a belief, a story that has been told for years and years and years. Apparently, one of the powers that these creatures hold is being able to turn invisible. They were also shapeshifters, so they could transform their bodies and turn into anything to cause harm to their victim. Hence why you shouldn't go, near them. The most terrifying detail to this legend is that the Pucwudgies would have control over the humans they murdered in the afterlife. So basically, they could control the spirits that they murdered. Does that not give you goosebumps? That is so scary. And imagine that, dying a traumatic death, and then in the afterlife there's no peace, you're being controlled by your murderer, which is some creature. It's insane to think that this legend has this much detail. And it's been spread for since the 1400s, right? I just feel like it's so, and I know I say this in every video when I talk about some sort of legend, but it genuinely is just so interesting, how all of this detail gets put into a legend, and it's just still known, it's still being talked about to this day. Maybe not as much, but hey, I'm talking about it. And again, I know that obviously a lot of people don't believe in this. Honestly, I don't know if I believe in it either. It's just a legend, and it's just so fascinating that I want to talk about it, and it's fun to talk about. I don't know, there's just something fun about legends and stories. It's so fun to scare people or just really delve into something different and mysterious. Hey, there are tribes that truly did believe in this creature, so yeah, it's kind of gives me goosebumps. A good way of putting it is this information came from someone, from tribes, from people who maybe truly believed that they experienced a Pucwudgie. It's very, very cool. Believe it or not, these creatures, the Pucwudgies, are actually known in the Freetown State Forest in Massachusetts. Some say they have witnessed these creatures in the woods, and because of this, signs have actually been put up to warn people of their presence. Yet, there are Pucwudgie crossing signs. Like, isn't that kind of funny? I mean, in saying that, it is kind of funny because it's probably just trying to lure more people and, kind of spark more interest in the area. But according to this legend, these creatures are very dangerous. People are clearly experiencing something. I mean, is it a Pucwudgie? I don't know, maybe. I mean, who am I to say that it's not? But yeah, very interesting. They're clearly seeing some sort of creature. For example, a woman said that she witnessed a Pucwudgie in that forest and that she was actually followed by one. It continued to tap and tap and tap on her window and bother her as she tried to sleep. Luckily, that was the extent of what this Pucwudgie was said to do to her. Nothing sinister happened, nothing like some of those legends would speak about, thankfully, but I did read some other very dark experiences. One of the terrible events that have happened in this forest that people do believe is because of these creatures, which personally, I don't think so. I don't know if it's kind of rude to even try to relate the two, but unfortunately, there have been suicides on the cliff in this forest, and many people do believe that these creatures have something to do with that. Now, I'm not here telling you that that is what I believe or what you should believe. I am simply telling you information that I have gathered that relates to these creatures, these Pucwudgies, or at least are said to relate to these creatures. Very, very heavy stuff. I mean, like I said, this whole legend is so interesting. The fact that we were even speaking about it today and bringing it to your attention. It's one of the oldest legends in North America. I mean, it's just so fascinating. What are your thoughts on this legend? Have you heard of it before? I'm actually curious if you have, because like many of the legends that I speak about on this channel, I had never heard of it before. I somehow stumbled across it when researching, and I just thought it was absolutely so cool that I wanted to bring it to your attention. You will find a lot of urban legends on this channel because I just think there's something so interesting about them. The fact that there are people that believe in them, there are people that say they've experienced unworldly things, and yeah, I mean, it's a legend for a reason. Alright, my gems, I really do hope you enjoyed a little bit of that history, a little bit of a magical topic. I mean, hey, it's nice to kind of escape into something different like that. I hope this video could, kind of distract you from whatever's happening in your life. If, there is something you want to be distracted from, this is exactly what this channel is for. It literally says it on my banner, an escape from reality. So yeah, really do hope you can find peace in this channel. I mean, we do speak about some pretty dark, some pretty heavy things, but in saying that, it kind of takes you out of your world for a little bit and kind of puts you into something different. So yeah. If you guys know of any other urban legends and creepy folklore type stories that you want me to bring onto the channel, go ahead and comment it down below. I genuinely love when you guys give me suggestions, because let me tell you, some of my popular videos are because of your suggestions. So thank you very much. Alright, my gems, please don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, which I hope you did. And don't forget to subscribe and put your notifications on, because I do see I have a lot of amazing returning subscribers, but I also see that I have a lot of new and unique viewers. So if you are one of
there you go. For that.
I like her subscribe button. I really do. And share. You need to put that on your channel. Okay, so what she says makes a lot of sense, and now she thinks it'd be really cool. I'm not so sure. I think it would be really cool, but at any rate, I don't know. Like I said before, folklore starts somewhere with truth, and as she said, the 1400s is for the North America. It was long before the 1400s. It was during medieval times when they talked about fairies and goblins in the old country. So, what can you say? I'm still torn, still not convinced, but I'd like to believe, as long as they're nice. So, oh gosh. Well, let's see. Now, we have another one too that is actual clips of a Pucwudgie running around in somebody's house. So
that's the 10 little people.
But let's just say I like CGI.
You're talking to the 10 little people next.
Yeah, the 10 little people.
We running that thing?
One of these days, I'll learn how to do CGI.
I would too. I had a friend of mine that took the 20th Century Fox and made it 20th. His handle used to be Trilux, and he made it 20th Century Trilux, and that was always he'd put that on any video that he made. It was the coolest thing I ever saw. I've always wanted something like that.
That sounds cool. It does. All right. Well, let's let the folks see what they look like running around so they can spot them in their house. And then, of course, they have to share how much alcohol they had to see that.
Yeah, I've got several of these myself. You're listening and watching the Tales of the Lore Hunter on Crooked River Radio. We'll be right back.
Okay. At one point there, I thought I was watching the Blair Witch Project.
I'm a little skeptical on a couple of those.
Yeah, I think so.
Needless to say.
That one that was running around, it looked to me like a black pug with a little furry thing around his head. My sister used to dress her black pugs up all the time for Halloween, and
that was my impression.
Yeah, it looked like a little pug to me.
And there was one there that looked like it was about 3 or 4 foot tall. It was probably a little boy dressed in a black sheet.
Well, and tape on. He could have been on his knees even.
Yeah.
So I just was like, really, people? No.
A little bit skeptical there.
Yeah, and this is why it's folklore, because you can't get anything worth, 2 bits. And why is it that all the cryptids, the films you see are all blurry? Come on now.
That was a point I was gonna bring up. I heard a quote from, I don't remember who it was, but it was a while back. They can take a picture of a star system 6 billion light years away and have crystal clarity on it, and they've got cameras even on your phone. They've got cameras that will take a picture of a freckle 15 miles away, and then
look, they can take pictures of all the stuff they're finding on Mars.
Yep. So what the heck is this?
I don't know. It's just weird. It was just like, can I just have one that's, has clarity?
Did you see the picture of the one Martian thing there that it looked like a ball of it was a ball of string is what it turned out being. Man, the stuff whoa, the Martians are there. Look at that. It's proof that somebody's actually, they said it was coming off the wheel of one of the rover that it had got snagged in some of the packing to save it from when it deployed, and it got snagged and torn into string, and they came up with all kind of excuses over that thing.
Oh, I'm sure of it. I mean, they tell us, from everything I've watched of late, it's especially from the one whistleblower, that he's been on Mars, and that we've been on Mars since 1966 or 67. I can't remember the exact year, but we have a base there. We have a base on the moon, and
there's a couple things there that are bothering me.
Yeah.
You heard about that helicopter, but have you ever seen any pictures from it?
No.
Neither have I. What are they hiding?
All kinds of stuff, I'm sure of that. Because us minions, we don't need to know, we'll be too.
That's right.
I'm more frightened of what's in Washington than I am of seeing what's on the helicopter. So, oh well, what can you say? But okay, so back to our folklore with the Pucwudgie. There is another article I read on the Pucwudgie, and it was from a tribe. Gosh, I can't remember the name of the tribe. It might have been the Ute tribe that talked about them, and of course that takes us back to Skinwalker Ranch. But the Ute tribe said that they had them there, and they helped them win the battle, several battles of the U.S. military, trying to round them up or kill them off, and they helped turn the battle for them and wipe out the troops that were trying to round them up and put them on a reservation. So they had nothing but glorious, wonderful things to say about the Pucwudgie. And in fact, that story I read it years ago, and I pulled it up. It's still online, and that is what, in my books, I based the Pucwudgie on what the Ute tribe had to say about the Pucwudgie. So, like I said, it was all how helpful they were, and they were, helping them to not be taken to a reservation off their lands, and they helped protect their land. So they were protectors of the Ute tribe, which I like.
Well, we got a couple minutes here. Why don't you do a shameless plug?
A shameless plug.
How does someone go about getting your books?
Oh, well, they're all on Amazon. There's 24 books on Amazon. Some of those are children's picture books. None of them are folklore. Well, yeah, that's true. No, that's not true, because there's Christmas elves. But they're, for the most part, simple everyday things. So, and then my other books are about the Galactic Federation, and which there probably is one, we just don't know about it. And then I used a lot of the characters in the book are people I went to school with, high school with. So like Morgan King, for any of you out there who know Morgan, and Ellie. Oh gosh, I can't remember her real name. I mean, her maiden name, Ellie Cargill. Ellie Netzer. That's it. Ellie Netzer. You may know her. Of course, Bev Grissom, and then Marcia Garman Zorn, and both of that. Marcia and Bev live in Texas. One lives in Grapevine, and the other one lives in Round Rock. So she's in the heat of the Pucwudgie down there. So I write my books around those characters, and they're always off trying to save the Federation. And so that's what the books are all about, is about Morgan, who's the president of the Galactic Federation. And, he's out.
These are available on Amazon too?
Yeah, all on Amazon. All of them are on. If you type in Beth Roose, Roose, my name, it will, Beth Roose books, all my books will come up. And there's, everything from the White House Code to, Beverly, Ellie. I have a book about Ellie coming out in a couple weeks. And then I have another big book coming out called Blue Jacket. And Blue Jacket was the chief of the Shawnee here in Ohio. And so I did a book about him, of course, blended in with the Galactic Federation. So it is not a historic, it is historic fiction. So a lot of history that is true is in the book with expanded fiction in it. So you can find those all on Amazon.
Sweet.
And thank you for that. Letting me give a shameless plug. So.
Well, I figured we had time, and I figure it'll help everything else in the long run.
All right.
We want to do this last clip, or do we want to just wrap it for today?
Yeah, let's just wrap up for the day.
All right, that'll work. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, thank you. Please like and share. Feel free to share and like our channel. And next week, I haven't decided on what our lore topic would be, but we would love a suggestion from anyone, and we will make it so. So please feel free to comment. Tell us what cryptids you would like us to talk about, and then share away. And we will see you next week, 11 o'clock on Sunday on Crooked River Radio's podcast channel.
If you get a chance, the Lore Hunters is actually on Facebook now.
Oh, yes.
It's the Tales of the Lore Hunters. If you do a search for that, you'll find it in the Facebook groups. Please join us there too.
I've been posting all sorts of things on there, different things from the Loch Ness Monster to obviously the Pucwudgie and aliens and all sorts of things you're going to find on Facebook in the Lore Hunters.
Other than that, we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Thanks.
Beth, hang in there for a couple minutes.
Okay.
I'll be there. This has been a Crooked River Media production.